we're going to go in Dre's wheelhouse for a second. We're going to take a trip into the MCU. We're talking about Loki, episode 3. Dre, I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Go for it, man. Take the wheel.
All right.
Look how happy he looked.
So for Loki, now, as if anybody's seen the last review podcast, they know I'm really excited for this series because as of now, it's already done a lot for the MCU while setting up so many branch timelines for them to do whatever they want. But it's giving you a story built journey about how this one character is being recreated into many from, I guess, encountering yourself in a certain way. So with that being said, he's going about it as in, I should know you in and out. I should know you down, flip backwards twice on a Tuesday. But why does that not seem very Loki-like? But everything they're doing, this latest episode was more so a Loki to Loki connection. That's all this episode was built off of, was a Loki to Loki connection. And it's like, it's almost looking inwards a little literally when at the beginning of the series, he had to reevaluate his entire life very, very quickly, which means that if he's running into a variant of himself, it should be the epitome of his past life. And that's what he's expecting. But getting that, so now he gets the chance to reflect with this other part of him, so to speak. Of course, the cockiness of Loki's going to say a lesser variant of himself. That's what he's expecting. So he's expecting to know exactly what's going to be given. But he's coming to be surprised that a lot of the information that is given, like, I
wouldn't do that at all.
Right. And they're hinting on a lot of stuff. Oh, and they're including a lot of actual Norse mythology in there. Like actual. Like that whole train scene conversation. And the whole sexual fluidity. That's actual Norse stuff.
That right there seemed to be the biggest. That scene right there is what was the biggest thing after the episode dropped. Like that's all the articles you see. That's what everyone's talking about online. And I'm just like, I was so confused by it. Loki's admitting that he's into men and women. He's admitting that he's, bisexual or pansexual or da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, why did you guys need that to be verified? Why y'all so shocked about it like that?
Right.
I hate to say it, like he's a trickster, so I would imagine he's that's not like really a thing that needed to be explained.
So I don't know who exactly is asking. Well, okay, I do know who's asking for this representation, but they've been asking it for a while now. They wanted Winter Soldier and Captain America to be gay. You know what I mean? Like they wanted
Oh my goodness. You just reminded me of something that I didn't need to know, but I remembered because you reminded me of it.
Well, I mean, say it now before you forget.
Oh, my bad. So quickly, there's fan story. There's a whole community of people who make fan stories, and what is it? Stucky is a title, but that's big in that fan community. Like everybody has, like Twitter has trending things that trends a lot in that fan community. This information was given to me by a source, and I'm like, that's a thing.
Oh, Sam and Bucky.
Yeah. So and it's like a really big, like Twilight big kind of thing. And you saying that reminded me of that because they're probably those fans from that community.
Wait, well, yeah. I mean, but like
already addressed it.
Yeah.
Like to date, I mean, just thinking about all the superhero properties that's been on the big screen, that's been on TV, and it may. I mean, I'm sure you all
Fan
have seen more than
fictions.
me.
That's what they. Yeah.
I don't remember any other hero coming out as gay or bisexual or any other orientation besides
No.
hetero.
No.
And so it's like that's just been one of the things that's been like a long awaited. Like they've been waiting for somebody to say, yeah, I like girls and guys. And then Loki. See, and it was funny because
There's an Easter egg on the first episode too.
Before watching the episode, I'm like, oh, that thing that everybody wants is on this episode. Like they're like he's going to say the thing that everybody's been saying all week.
I think that's what it was for me. To me, it's always been a known. It's always been a known unknown. It's just like you ain't have to say it because he's a trickster. He's a Norse god. It's based off of Vikings. It's like I'm not dumb. You don't have to fill in the blanks for me.
But it's one of those like coming out of the closet moment. Like everybody is just waiting for him to say yeah. But the funny thing is, if you blink, you'll miss him saying it. It's like it's not even like a
it's
big
real quick
thing. It's very quick.
He's answering a question that spoiler alerts. In the second episode of Loki, we find out that the variant that he was hunting is actually a female version of him. Who she doesn't go by Loki. She calls herself Sylvie. Yeah, and so episode 3, they're on a train. They're having a conversation. Loki basically asks her, anyone special in your life? Yada yada. She said there was, but not anymore. And then she was just like, well, you're a prince of Asgard. You must have some princesses that lined up for you or lined up in your bed, or some princes. And Loki's response was a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
And then that's it. The rest of the conversations continue. So like if you're like on your phone or some shit, you could totally miss that. Yep. It's like because they didn't. It wasn't like
you ain't missing the articles though.
Exactly. It wasn't like a celebration of anything. He was just like the way exactly how I'm saying. It's like it was so matter of fact the way he was saying it. He was like, actually, a little bit of both. You know what I mean?
This is where Norse mythology comes in. Because if anybody knows the Loki from North mythology, on the very first episode, it had an Easter egg when they was profiling Loki. They showed everything he was born to. If you look under the sex column, it says fluid.
Oh, really? I didn't.
It says fluid. It doesn't say male or female. It says fluid. And one of those things is Loki can transform himself into any being he desires, period. And so in Norse mythology, he turns himself into beasts, and he has sex with other beasts, and he gives birth to like these creatures that some of them he gave to Odin, some of them he sent to Earth. I think he was the one that gave birth to the Cerberus. Like he gave birth to all of these creatures and stuff. And there is female Lokis and there's male Lokis, just period, within the MCU universe. Whenever he wants to recreate himself, he can recreate himself as whatever he desires.
Yep.
So when it comes down to it, of course.
And I think I said, and that's maybe why I didn't know it as in depth as what Dre explained, but I knew some of that shit already. So it's just like to me it wasn't a big deal. I was more interested in learning more about the Sylvie character, about her differences from Loki. And it's just the way Dre, like you said earlier, the way Loki feels like I'm the better version of this variant, or I shouldn't be able to know what this Loki is going to do because this Loki's a Loki. He's walking around with her and she's doing stuff, and he's like, "That's not very Loki like. That's not what a Loki would do." And she's just like, "Motherfucker, I'm not a Loki. Like, stop calling me that." Like, it's even to the point where like their powers are different because they have different upbringings. Like like our Loki, the Tom Hiddleston Loki, he was the prince of Asgard. He was Thor's brother, Odin's son, son of Frigga, who was a powerful witch who he learned magic from. This one, like this Sylvie, I think she said she didn't know her mother. She didn't. I don't think she spoke about her.
She
Spoke about her
specifically
father.
said, "I know the idea of her, but it seems like a distant memory."
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like, and she has a power. She does something that our Loki can't do, and she's just like, no, I taught myself how to do this. And even our Loki's like, you taught yourself? She's like, yeah. So I do like how even though they're kind of similar, they are like, as far as the I can't trust you because you're me. Like, I can't trust you because you're me and I know what you would do. But it's still just like we're so very different that you can't anticipate everything I'm going to do. Like, we don't react the same.
Yeah, we're not the same person.
Yeah, and it was one scene when they were walking on a planet and they came up to a trailer that proved just how different they were. Like, one Loki takes a very brass approach to how they were going to do something and it backfired, and the other one's like, nah, man, you gotta have a little coof about it. You gotta be kind of cool and chill about it. And you saw how the other one like tried to be all sly with it. Sure, it didn't work out for them as well, but it's just like, this is how different we are. We're taking two approaches. You're just like, all right, I gotta hurry up and get this shit done. Like, and damned who, like, what I gotta do to get it done. And the other one's just like, all right, I know I gotta take my time, learn the minutia, figure out how to do certain things. And it showed a lot throughout the show. A lot of Tom Hiddleston's Loki was definitely more so of a calculated deception, and Sylvie was more. She was a little bit more brash. She was definitely willing to be more brash.
It's like, and Dre probably has a bit more information on it, but it's like Sylvie is more of a warrior, and our Loki is more of, he's deception. He's a trickster. So it's like him fighting is always a last resort. Like, he will if he has to, but he's going to trick you 10 times before he even pulls those blades out. But she's more like, no, I'm about to slit your throat, fam. Like, I'm about to get what I want right now with
our
these
Loki's
hands.
Our Loki's like, I'm gonna find some magic and do some tricks so I can sneak up and stab you in the back. And she's just like, no, we're face to face. I'm just gonna kill you.
Yeah.
So I'm about to pluck some choice information because Sylvie's a very prominent character in the comics. So Sylvie's actually someone who has a backstory in the comics, which I don't know if they do want to go too much into detail of that later in the series. So I'm a pick and choose various things from Sylvie in the comic. Now, Sylvie in the comic, she grew up in a harsh reality where she was forced to prove herself in various ways. And on Asgard, she had to attain a certain role by going through and doing various things. Some put in a lot of the same positions as our Loki today, but with a lot of missing factors, which turned it to the darker side. A lot to the darker side. And then she ended up.
So she had to kind of get it out the mud more.
Yeah, she didn't have that support that Loki had.
There was no emotional value out of the life she lived at all.
No support structure, no one to help her along the way, really.
And this is back when Odin was harsher. He didn't have no love to speak of, so he was harsh. And Thor was still trying to prove himself, like he's the showboaty show off, so she had to be real rough and tough. But at the same time, her personality, like, things were created and given to her. And by a particular someone that would change the whole dynamic of this series. She was guided by someone and changed the whole dynamic of this. That would change the whole dynamic of the series. So I'm not gonna say that unless you want to look into the comic world afterwards. But she had a very dynamic life on the planet Earth too.
It's like, because I know we was talking about this earlier. It's like, I want to know, like, I really do, but I also want to watch this show.
Yeah, but I say for the sake of the show, I don't want to know.
Right. So
Right.
it's like, That's why I was like, because I'm a very spoiler type of guy anyway. So it's like when you said that, I was like, I could easily just look up her name and get her whole backstory and stuff. But I was like, nah, but I want to see if they explore who she is in the show, because I like how the show is playing itself out so far. They're doing a really good job.
Yeah. Plus,
so,
and technically, her character's modeled after 3 people.
mm,
Initially in the comics it was 2 people, but the MCU modeled her after a third, and that was Hela, Loki's sister.
okay.
This character's personality build was kind of built around her personality-ish, because I don't know if there was a Hela in that universe that she's from. Now, I only pick out some of those things because these are some of the things I'm excited to see if they answer. Like on a deeper role, because there's a lot of shock and awe that could be had, and that changes the course of the whole series just by 2 events that happens in the comic alone. And I'm sure that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to spoon feed information from Sylvie, so people can be like, that matches, but this don't. This matches, but that don't. That's not what the comics did, but this is. This is exactly what the comics did.
All right. Oh, you got me looking more forward to more Sylvie. I just kind of want to see. Where they'll take her. I like her character. I kind of like how, how she's not so much like Loki. It's not Loki. It's not Loki versus Loki the way you thought it would be. Like, even right now, we don't know her prime motivation. Like, we know what she did. Like, we know what she did at the end of episode 2, but we still don't know the motive behind it. Like, even Loki's just like, you don't want to rule the TVA, like, or run the shit. What do you want? Right. It's like, yeah, like, our Loki has always been about, I want to rule. Like, Thor 1, I want to rule Asgard. Thor 2, I'm going to fake my death so I can rule Asgard. Like the Avengers, I can't rule Asgard, I'm going to rule Earth. So it's just like we know what our Loki's always kind of been about. He's always been about a power structure, and he's always wanted to be at the top of that power structure. This Sylvie person, we don't know what she wants.
Not at all.
Yeah, even though they've spent the majority of this episode learning about each other, we really didn't learn shit about her. We
I have
just
a hypothetical,
even
or I
though
have
Loki
a
said
theory that I want to play on, because I don't know. Comics don't have no information for this, so I'm playing in the safe zone. Do you think Sylvie is from a universe that got deleted? Like, just a universe period? Because mind you, they made a sacred timeline, right? Which means that only one course of action is supposed to happen. But when they explained Loki's breakdown in the beginning, they said it could be this kind of Loki, this kind of Loki, this kind of Loki, this kind of Loki, or this showing different shapes and sizes and forms.
Oh, so do you think that she's trying to create multiple timelines to recreate hers again?
Could it be that?
So the answer to your question, I'm going to say yes, only because she said something. It was kind of like a revelation in the episode, and for spoiler sakes, I'm not going to say what that revelation was, but she told Loki the truth about the agency, pretty much, as far as the people within it.
Big statement.
That's a big spoiler based off of what you learned in the first 2 or what they tell you in the first 2 episodes.
And if that's true, I'm thinking that she may have been a part of that. And this whole thing,
because she said it with the utmost confidence,
this whole thing could have maybe been like a scheme or a revenge plot that she's been planning from the inside this whole time. And it would kind of make sense,
I like that,
with her knowledge of the time devices and the time bombs and all that.
Yeah, how
stuff.
to charge it, and she's used one but still.
Yeah, so that's where I'm thinking that it's, you know, it's kind of
Matter of
leading
fact,
to.
she knew also of the place that they were, the planet that they were immediately, but that was in the future.
Yeah.
They traveled to the future,
Oh yeah.
which means she has a vast knowledge of the timeline in general. If she could just be like, step out, we're here, you idiot. Like,
Well, I was thinking that was because that might have been one of her hiding spots. Remember?
Yeah, they established in
yeah,
the
she
second
was
episode that they hide in
an
apocalypse. Man,
yeah.
yeah.
So I was thinking she just knew, like, she, you know, hey, this is used to be one of my spots. I've been here before. I know what's about to happen.
True.
You know,
That
deal.
could have been a thing, yeah.
My theory is a little bit different. I'm gonna go with a theory that that plays into a trope that Sirius hates when it comes to female characters, especially
Don't do
strong female characters.
Oh, she's been doing so good.
It's one or two. I think it's one or two things. I think that she was from another timeline that got erased, and in that timeline there was someone she cared about. It's either a lover or a child, or it could be both. It could have been she had a family, which might be why she doesn't talk to Loki, our Loki, a lot. Because even our Loki at one point toward the end was just like, "Hey, I've been talking all the time, telling you stuff about me. You still can't even tell me like some simple shit."
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I think she doesn't want him to know that, and I think that the TVA took that from her, and she's just on a mission to be like, "Fuck the TVA, I want it gone, and I want to try to see if I can recreate my timeline."
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mhm.
Possibly, that's a good one. What I liked, the interaction between both Lokis. Like, so if our Loki was fucking up throughout this whole episode. Like,
Oh yeah,
Man.
especially on that train when he just had to become
Man.
like our Loki proves that that no matter what, he's still our Loki. He still wants to be the center of attention.
for
There was
sure.
a certain scene where he was just up in that joint, got drinks in his hand, like singing his song and whatnot, and she's just over here like, "Motherfucker, we are supposed to be incognito. You are not in your outfit no more. What are you doing?"
He over there.
Get your-"
Another.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, everyone's singing with me. What are you talking about? We're all
I'm
fine."
full.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm not drunk,
very
I'm
full.
full.
I'm very full. I'm full many times over."
Yeah, he was just fucking up throughout the whole episode, and I love how her character was she was just so over it. Like, she was just like her, she wanted to they wanted to get out of there, and she wanted the device that he had, but like, if they were anywhere else, she's just so over him. Like, she wouldn't rock with him, she wouldn't fuck with him on a good day. It's like, this guy.
It's one of those things where, like, when you're someone who didn't grow up with privilege and you're around someone with privilege, after a while, it's like, all right, you're just annoying me because you're showing your privilege right now. You're showing me that you don't really care because you just feel like you can get away with whatever because of how you've lived your life. It's like you don't know how to adapt to situations, right?
His prince ass.
Yeah.
Oh, let me throw a weird wrench in the mix, because also one of the weird things about that episode is they kind of gave you a little bit of a relationship kind of theme. Didn't it feel like the way they was interacting, they was a bad couple trying to get back together?
I didn't see that. What I saw was two people who were forced to be dependent on one another for their survival.
If this was a CW show, I would fully believe that eventually they would end up hooking up together.
I didn't see any form of chemistry in that happening at all.
That's why I said if this was a CW show. If this was a CW show, even if there was like someone that might have seen the little slightest hope, they was like, all right, let's find a way to weave this into the story. It's like, but yeah, it was more so about two people trying to survive, and it's just like, I don't know how to survive with you because you're just the complete opposite of me, and it's not in a helpful, and it's not in a helpful way.
Not
Like,
at all. That's what I'm saying. It'd be
Now, do
different
you think it
if
could turn into that?
it'd be different if he
And
had
would it be allowed?
plans. If he had plans and his plans like worked, then she could be like, "Oh, he's not so bad. Like he does." No, he was fucking up the whole episode.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
right.
there wasn't
Yeah.
a redeemable quality about him at all.
There's no your
Yo.
strength is enhancing my weakness.
Right.
I'm not
right.
gonna lie. One of my favorite moments was at the very end. At the very end, the way she reacted at the very end before, credits, that was one of my favorite moments because it made me laugh so hard.
I agree with you. The last 10 minutes of that episode was to me was the best part of that episode. From
That's where they show the best chemistry.
Yeah, but also, and Dre, this is your thing from a technical standpoint. They showed everything through one shot.
It was a long shot.
It was one long shot, and all you saw was just debris, destruction, chaos, fighting, and they're just moving and weaving their way through these scenes. And it was like just looking at it being shot. Wow, this looks fucking
I love long
great.
shots.
And then for it to end the way that it did, it's like it gassed you up and it took all the gas out of you. And I wasn't laughing at it. But when it happened, I was like, wow. Because they showed the credits.
You be like, this is what you're gonna do?
Man.
They showed the credits and I was like, wow.
Okay, it was both of their responses. It was actually both of them. Because one of them I can relate to, but at the same time, the other one I can relate to too.
I'm about to say, you can relate to both because I feel like, honestly, as a person, I would have embodied both of them at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It was a little bit. It was a little bit of a shock and disappointment, and it's just like one wore the shock very well, and the other one wore the disappointment very well.
Right.
But I don't even like this. The situation called for that disappointment, but I think it was more so a disappointment in that other person.
Oh yeah.
Like
It definitely
you have
was.
done nothing. Nothing this whole time to make anything better. Like, God damn it.
And then I let you talk me into doing something.
Right.
And I had to watch that shit. And I had to watch that shit.
She
Just
was
like,
this could work.
Yeah.
I could work with this.
So I'm gonna have a little faith in them. All right, we here, we doing this, we doing that. And then when that certain event happens, she just so disappointed. She's like, motherfucker. And just like walks away.
This nigga, man.
Yep.
Right. This nigga.
Hey.
Shit.
If this nigga was a facial expression, it would be her.
Oh man.
But yeah, and the funny thing is like I don't even think that this was the strongest. This might have been actually the weakest episode, but it was the most. But it had some very good, memorable moments, and it does like because the first episode I think was just so strong just because of the therapy that went on, and then the second one I liked a lot because I liked the dynamic between Owen and Tom Hiddleston. While like Tom just thinking he's so smart, so much smarter than everyone, and then this right here, it wasn't. You didn't have like these grand set pieces because they weren't traveling around a lot like they were in the first two episodes, or it wasn't a lot. It wasn't like a lot of big reveals like the whole Infinity Stones ain't shit here thing. But it was just two people just having conversations, just trying to learn one another. And it's just like one person just being real stubborn. It's like, I don't really want to know anything about you, but I'm going to sit here and let you talk because like I have no other choice. While the other one's just like, open the fuck up, woman.
Right.
It was just funny. It made for a memorable episode.
I kind of like how they left you off with what the fuck happens now?
Yeah.
That's that shock. That's that shock that I was saying. Like it was just like, wow. Like because the credits hit, and I was just like,
it was like watching Infinity War the first time when everyone just went to dust, and then they just show like the original Avengers, and then credits. You're like, what the fuck is
this? Yeah.
You're sitting there looking like Star-Lord. Wait a minute. Did we lose?
You're like, I need another twist. Like ended on some type of bigger twist or some type of. Now it's just like credits. It's like I stubbed my toe. Credits.
right. And I like, personally, man, I like it when they do that, because especially when we give the example like Endgame and even with this episode, it's like you give us these larger than life characters, and it's just like, yeah, like look at them, like all this power that they wield and stuff, like everything should turn out great. Like it should work, whatever it is that they're trying to do, and then it doesn't.
Yeah, our Loki had one scene where he showed off some power.
Right.
I didn't think he could do that shit.
There was a big flex there. That was definitely
it was
a
something
big
I did not think that our Loki could do, and he did it. I was just like, kudos to you, sir. I didn't know that you were legit that strong.
Now,
I saw it, but was it a spell?
I guess it must have been some type of spell.
He shouted something at it, and then it stopped.
I didn't think he was that. I didn't think he could be that strong. Like, even if it was like a spell to freeze something, object of the size that he froze, I'm like, shit, bravo, dog.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, no wonder you can get away with doing all the shit you do.
That scene was so great.
It was.
Sylvie, I think at one point Sylvie even admitted that you may be more powerful than me, but I think I'm more capable.
Yeah. She definitely acknowledged that his magic is stronger, but she also acknowledged that he has a strong mind, even though he doesn't show it all the time. Because she tried to do something with him, and like a couple of times
enchant him.
Yeah, and he's just like,
well, he said that
shit ain't gonna. Yeah, he's like, man, this shit.
He's
ain't
like,
gonna
my
work.
mind's too strong.
Yeah,
of course, my mind's too strong.
But she acknowledged it. Like, she could have just been like, I wasn't really trying. But later on, she's like, yeah, nah, with this power, if somebody's weak minded, I can do this real simple. Like, if they're a little bit strong minded, I gotta. What she said she had to do? She has to like dig into the mind and like construct something around the memory of theirs and stuff like that. So she basically acknowledged, like, all right, you strong, like you got some power.
Hold on, though. Unless it really worked.
Oh, you think maybe after a certain part they were in a construct, or he was in a construct? But I thought she said she had to do it around a memory, though.
Mm-hmm.
She did say that.
Yeah, because
I'm not gonna lie.
That's what she did to one of the TVA officers. She used a memory.
But did she say it had to be their memory? Because mind you, she was at that place before.
Oh, I don't recall that part. I might have to watch that again. I just recall her saying like she had to like dig in the brain and like use a memory.
So hear me out. Now here's my theory.
They did say that. They did say it had to be their memory, and that's what the whole variant thing was like.
But hear me out though, because the first part of that episode, I would say that's foreshadowing of her showing what it is that she can do, because she changed those scenes twice with that one person. Then when they end up on that planet, she attempts to do it on him. She could have done it, and the rest of the episode is what it is that weaving is. It's that tug of war that she's explaining.
Huh.
Because
she did say with some people that are strong minded, she said, I can't fully take control.
I can't fully take control. She didn't say she couldn't do it.
Yeah, the other person is
okay. That's true. Now let's flip that though. What if by that brief explanation, Loki managed to figure it out and enchanted her? Because she said she wasn't going to go to sleep, but next to she's waking up.
and he's singing.
Oh, that's true.
She said she can't go to sleep.
She can't because she can't trust the person that
that's next to her.
So why did she wake up?
Oh, that's true.
I'm just saying.
But and it's funny.
And then she woke up to a show, a loud show at that.
So we're theorizing like this. So now it's like, can we really trust the ending?
So maybe
that's the thing. Can we?
So maybe what happened when someone left a train in a very involuntary manner, and something was damaged. Maybe that was never the case.
He is a trickster.
Maybe that is never the case. And you know what? Who's to say he does have that power to do the thing with that he did with that building?
So she attempts it. So she attempts it, and because he's always saying that he's the superior Loki, and she's even admitted, like, yes, because of your magical abilities, you may be the superior Loki, but I am more capable. Maybe she attempted it. Maybe he did switch it on the train, and he tricked her into thinking that the magical MacGuffin that they've been trying to fix is broken.
So what if she walked away in disappointment at the end, and what we all thought happened didn't happen, and he still has a particular device on him, and there's a certain structure that people thought was destroyed that they were going to use that wasn't destroyed, in which he basically just stabbed her in the back.
Because that's what our Loki does.
That's what he does.
Hey. He's only done it like 50 something times, and he doesn't like doing it anymore because he knows people expect it, according to him.
I don't know, man. Now that we say all that stuff, it does lead a lot of questions, and I can't wait for the next goddamn episode, man. Because the way they left it off is really like, oh shit. What the fuck
happens now?
Loki is just that type of show where it's a whole bunch of
3 more episodes left.
Let you go. Oh, it's only
so
6?
From here, it's only 6. So from here, they're gonna have to turn it up 1,000. So I think this was the introduction to the turn up, because most series, like all of the other series, by episode 4, they was in main plot. Episode 4 was main plot on every series.
Yeah, because Falcon and the Winter Soldier was only 6 episodes. I think WandaVision was like 7 or 8 episodes.
Yeah, so by episode 4, there was main plot. Once WandaVision hit episode 4, main plot. They got it out the way, and then you know what you was looking forward to for the rest of what was playing out.
Once WandaVision got out of the 70s sitcoms, like or earlier, like the main plot started to
take off.
Yeah.
So much so they started making memes about episode 4 for both series.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, this might be the best MCU show. Just because this is the type of show that even if you don't know a lot about the comics, if you know enough about the MCU and you know enough about your Loki, and you're sitting down talking to people like we are right here, just look at all the theories that we all just came up with just in this time we were talking. Mm-hmm. I didn't think all the shit that I suggested, I did not think any of this shit like when I was done watching the episode. Like everything that I suggested today, I literally just thought of while we were having this conversation. There's not a damn thing where once I finished this episode, I was like, I wondered this, and this. Oh, I didn't pick up I picked up on this. So that y'all are picking up on stuff I didn't pick up on, and you're just making my imagination and making my theories run away with themselves.
Yeah, I just really think it's interesting, man, because foreshadowing it's a classic movie trick that episodes and movies use a lot, and they specifically showed you that for a reason.
For a reason, definitely. And Marvel's good at it too.
And there will be no reason for her to actually tell him any of this. It's like it might just he might just be getting the information because he's just like, I don't really need to know how you do it. I just need to know, how long it lasts or what might happen if something were to backfire, yada, yada,
Oh,
yada.
I feel it's got to be true, bro. I think we had to have cracked it. That's what this whole episode is, them two fighting for
Control.
Just like how she said it, man. Like, but a strong mind, it's like I'm there, but they're there too. And it's like it's a struggle for that control. I think that whole episode,
the whole her being asleep and waking up and the way he was acting, especially when he was trying to come up with plans and he was talking about, especially when he was at the trailer and he was talking about, you know, you got to be smooth and you kind of got to, you know, be a little, you know, have a little coof about yourself when you're trying to persuade people or doing certain things. Hey, it's like he wasn't very coof after she went to sleep and woke up and he had some drinks in him.
Right.
Oh man.
And then he was real emotional too.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we know he's in touch with his emotional side, but
he's
not normally that emotional. He's still cocky even when he loses. So what was that?
I think we cracked it, boys.
Man.
Mark it here.
Hey, even with my comic knowledge, some of that stuff I didn't see coming.
Hey, if you're correct, I'm sending Kevin Feige like this clip with a timestamp.
With a timestamp.
A timestamp, right?
And have it labeled. You got to try harder than that.
Nah, man, bump that. The subject is going to be hire us.
We know, dude. We got it, bro.
I was like, we can help with the twist a little bit more, man. It's like I'm all about a quadruple twist in a show.
Shoot, right?
Oh man, that was
great. I just here talking for this long.
Man, I about to say we're at the 2.5 hour mark right now, almost 2:40.
2:44 on this side.
Yeah, so we got one more thing to talk about, but I just that Loki conversation might have been the best conversation of the night.
I personally think all of them were pretty good.
Oh, they've all been strong, but I think maybe just because
it drew the most energy out of us.
Yeah, like just because, like I said, like it's based off of comics. It's the MCU. They're known for their Easter eggs. They're known for, you know, like Sirius said, you know, a lot of shows and stuff like that. They're known for foreshadowing, especially shows that are known or entities that are known to have like a lot of twists and turns. And like the whole point of Loki is he's a trickster. So we can't take a show about a trickster at face value when it comes to things.
We're being tricked, boys.
Yeah.
They're trying to get one over on us.
Just like what Mobius said when they was in that tent. They was like, you know what? All right, you almost had me. You almost had me.
Did you guys miss Owen Wilson in this episode? I missed him a little bit.
I kind of did.
Just a little bit.
Like I said, I kind of like him. I kind of like him as a straight man. Like he was just very, very relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I appreciated that about him. It was like, hey,
I think he keeps a good story narrative going very, very evenly with his perks. You know, it's still about Loki. Like, he doesn't have too much flair, but he's flair enough to make Loki respond and then like get a reaction out of him the way that the audience kind of needs. So I like his character.
Hey, come on, Loki, come on. Get in the spirit, man. We got to get you that meeting with the timekeepers. Really?
And it's also nice.
No, of course not. What do you mean? Come on, let's go.
It's also nice that he's kind of a company man, but he's also still kind of got his own little renegade shit going on. Like you see all the other agents don't really like Loki, don't want to trust him or nothing. He's like, look, motherfucker, we can use him. Stop bitching about it. Let's use,
right.
You know, he goes to his boss and she's like, why do you keep trying to do this? Like, because it's a good idea. Well, no one else seems to think so. It's like, because everyone else is dumb.
People can change. I've changed. You've changed.
I think they love me. They never put anyone above me.